Hey guys, hope everyone's good. I'm sorry if I look tired and broken down. I'm just coming back from work and I decided I really need to do this video. I've been wondering for a few days, not a few days, but a few hours, whether or not I really wanted to address this topic because Meghan Markle is a celebrity, a royal by marriage. She's not someone who directly impacts my life. So when I hear about controversial topics like this, I tend to stay away because, again, it doesn't directly impact me. But I realize that, you know what? This conversation is a lot bigger than Meghan Markle. It's become so much more. When I look under the comments of, the different news stories, when I look under the comments of different videos, when I go to work and hear the conversations, I've come to realize this is much more than being about Meghan Markle, the person. This is more about what she represents and the conversations that this controversy has started, as well as just the dark places that her her interview and just the whole controversy around her, the dark places that it has shone a light on. And sorry, I'm like holding this because guys, I couldn't bother with a whole setup today. Like, I'm tired. I really want to go to my bed, but I just had to come on here and say this. I'm gonna start here. Whether or not you like Meghan Markle, whether or not you are a royalist, whether or not you're one of those people who have decided it's a Meghan versus them situation and everyone has to pick a side and your side is whichever side Meghan is not on. Whether or not you like Meghan Markle, there are a few premises that I believe that as a society, we should be able to agree on. As a society, as a civilized society in 2021, there are a few premises that this conversation has brought out that as a society, we should be able to agree on. And the first one is, no matter who it is, anyone who reaches out to an institution and says, I have concerns about my mental health, I am having suicidal thoughts, I need help, and that person is rejected, that's not okay. That's not okay. I don't care whether you like her, you dislike her, you are loyal to the queen, you are not, it doesn't matter. Anybody reaching out about mental health issues, anyone saying, I am up at night methodically thinking about suicide, I need help. It is not okay to reject that person, to turn that person away, much less to turn that person away because it won't look good. That is not okay. And I feel like that's something we should be able to agree on across the board. Like, take away Meghan as this celebrity persona that we've made her. She's a person. I feel like a lot of you have just personified her in the media so much that you forget that's an actual person. That's an actual person saying, I was ashamed to say it, but I was thinking about killing myself. That's not okay. That's not okay. I don't care what's happening. That's not okay to be rejected. Secondly, you are a whole powerful institution, the most powerful institution in the UK, some would say on this side of the world, whatever it is. You mean to tell me that you don't have private doctors on hand, you don't have private psychologists, private psychiatrists, whatever it is, to be able to attend to members of the family? I know you do. I know you do. Why was she not given access to private doctors or private psychiatrists or whoever it is that attends to these things? That is not okay. That is not all right. And that's a premise I feel like we should all be able to agree on, regardless of how you feel about Meghan as a person. And then the other thing that's disturbing me is when I look at the comments and I listen into the conversations happening around me. You people who are saying she's lying about being suicidal, what is wrong with you? No, seriously, what is wrong with you? For the past how many years, almost every major country on our planet has been rallying around mental health, has been rallying to normalize that conversation, to say to everyone, if you are having mental health issues, say something. Don't sit in silence and endure it or try to deal with it on your own. Don't be silent. Say something. It's okay to ask for help. That's what we've been pushing for so many years. Even some members of the royal family has been pushing that. I heard even Piers Morgan has been pushing that. We have been pushing that narrative for years, trying to normalize this conversation around mental health and trying to save people who are going through this issue. And here comes a high profile person saying, hey, I was embarrassed to admit it, but I needed help. I had mental health issues. I was suicidal. I was having suicidal thoughts. Here's a high profile person admitting this. And now you're in the comments talking about you don't believe her. What's that about? So is it that everyone who is going through depression or who has suicidal thoughts, everyone deserves help except for the people that you don't like? Is that the case? Only people that you like deserve help with mental health issues when they arise. Is that the case? And then the other thing is, y'all aren't thinking, because Meghan won't see half of these tweets going out about you not believing that she was suicidal or that she had mental health issues. Meghan isn't seeing these comments under every news story saying that she's not telling the truth. Meghan isn't hearing the conversations y'all are having in the supermarket or at the workplace talking about how you don't believe that she's telling the truth when she says she's suicidal. Meghan isn't hearing that. You know who is hearing that? Are the people around you who are actually going through that struggle right beside you that you don't even know about. Those are the people who are hearing you question someone who is coming out to say, I struggle with this. Those are the people who are hearing you. Your brother who is secretly depressed and you don't know, he's the one hearing that you don't believe that Meghan Markle has suicidal thoughts. Your daughters who are secretly cutting themselves in secret places when you're not looking, those are the people who are reading those comments about how she's a liar and a this and a that, and she never had any mental health issues. And how do you think that affects them? That young girl who's struggling with suicidal thoughts, struggling on whether or not to tell her friends or whether or not to tell her parents, and then looks at these comments and sees everyone saying, oh, she's lying. And if you're not going to believe a princess, if you're not going to believe a celebrity, why would you believe me if I came out and told you that? These are the people who are really being impacted by your ignorance, really. I didn't even realize how much this really upset me until, because like I said, again, this is a celebrity. This is not somebody who impacts my life. I don't really get worked up about celebrity gossip or celebrity news. But the conversations that it started, it just, listening to people talk, I'm just baffled. I really am baffled. So let's go back. I'll tell you about my because I had an encounter at work today that made it a little more personal for me. And I think that's what led me to make the video. But I'll touch on that a little later. Let's go to the second premise that I believe as a society, regardless of where you stand and who you like from who you don't like, as a society, we should be able to agree on this second premise. The conversation about what shade Meghan and Harry's son's skin will be is unacceptable. Unacceptable. And that conversation just should not have happened. Should not have happened. Unacceptable. And you know, I guess I'm gonna touch on the situation at work, because I really got upset at work today because I was in my lunchroom eating lunch, and these two people came in. One was a white lady, one was a black man. And I was putting in my earphones and they started talking about the whole interview thing. And the minute the lady opened her mouth, I was just like, no, I can't, let's not. Because I could hear in her voice just the judgment and the ignorance. And I said, Akil, not today. You just here to drink your little chicken soup and go back to work. So I tried to ignore them for 5-10 minutes while they were going on. I'm like, no, change the conversation, because I don't want to have to get involved. And everyone is entitled to their opinion, right? The issue here is not a difference of opinion at all. The issue here is just blatant ignorance and just callous disregard for what other people are going through. So where I decided to get involved was when the lady said, oh, you know, I don't trust anything that comes out of Meghan's mouth. Everything she says is a lie, blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. You know, I didn't even watch the interview, but yeah, when she said I didn't watch the interview, I said, hold on. I said, you have such strong opinions on this topic and you haven't even watched the interview. You have such strong formed opinions that you're strongly expressing out here in this room for everyone to hear about an interview that you have not even watched. That's what gets me. People like that get me. People who have these strong, loud opinions about things they know nothing about. So I said to her, well, maybe you should watch it first before your opinions are formed, because it's a different case for me if you say, you know, I watched the interview and this is my opinion, or this is how I felt about it. That's one thing. But to say you haven't watched the interview and this is how you feel about it, shut up. Just shut up. Like, now we're just going into an ignorant conversation because you don't know what you're talking about. But anyway, she went on, about how she doesn't trust Meghan. And again, this is not about liking Meghan Markle or which side you are on. This is about so much more. She went on about how the reason she doesn't trust Meghan Markle is, or that most people don't trust her, is because she's an actress. So I said, so hold on. So you're making these great big judgments on a woman based on her profession? Make that make sense. So every actress out there, no one can believe anything they say. And then every doctor out there saving lives is just a good human. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't base someone's character and judgment and pass judgment on someone because of their profession. I was like, that makes no sense. Next. Then she starts talking about how they talked about the baby skin color and they don't even know what this conversation was about. I was like, again, you didn't watch the interview. So actually, we do know what it's about. Both Meghan and Harry spoke on it. And Harry specifically said they were talking about the skin color of the baby. Oh, well, we don't know how that conversation came about or what. I said, listen. And I think this shook her a bit because this is when I was starting to get, you know, I said, there is no excuse for that conversation about the tone of the baby's skin. There is no way that conversation could have been put that would have made it okay. That conversation should have never happened. And that is another premise that as a society, I think we should be able to agree on. That conversation about Archie's skin tone should have never happened. That sketch. And she just kept on trying to make excuses for that conversation. And as I probed her more on it, then she realized that the more she spoke is the more... I don't know if I want to say racist, but the more her bias showed. And then she eventually moved off that topic because she realized she wasn't making much sense. And as she went on from one topic to the other, and me having to address them, and then she's like, oh, then I realized that's scary. That's a coworker of mine who is willing to just pass a judgment on someone she doesn't know based on headlines in the media. And I don't mean like, we all form opinions or, slight judgments on people based on what we see in passing. But I mean like she had hardline stances based on nothing. And it shook me to my core because I realized that's how racial biases are. That's how they function. You just look at someone and assume something. And I'm wondering, if that's how you felt about this, how is it that you feel about me in the workplace? What do you think about me? What other on the fly things have you seen that has caused you to make snap judgments and characterize me and put me in a box? And that's the thing about this conversation and that people are not being aware of. Here she thought she was talking about Meghan Markle. Well, actually what she was doing was revealing her racial bias to me, was revealing her ignorance to me, because she was literally telling me how she really thinks, how she really sees the world, and how she makes her judgments about people. And that was what was upsetting to me. That was what was a bit scary to me. And I said to myself, man, this topic is showing you so much. So those are the first two premises that I feel like everyone should be able to agree on, no matter what. The mental health issue and the skin color issue. There are a few things in that interview that shocked me but didn't surprise me. And, things about the security. And to me, that's one of the more, not trivial, but one of the things that, okay. But another thing that happened after that a lot of people are talking about that kind of really upsets me is the whole Piers Morgan issue. So he walked away from, I'm gonna say Good Morning America, Good Morning Britain, right? And everyone's yelling, freedom of speech, he can say what he wants. So here's the thing. There's giving your opinion about something, and then there's Piers Morgan and what Piers Morgan has done with Meghan. Okay, because I've heard so many different, personalities express that, I don't really like Meghan. I don't really like this. I don't really like that. That's fine. I disagree, but you're entitled to your opinion, and I respect your right to have your opinion. An opinion is fine. What Piers Morgan does is straight hate, vitriol. It's straight, as his coworker said, diabolical. And hear me out. Yes, freedom of speech. But the question I put to you then is, another issue that as a planet we have been rallying around for years is the issue of bullying, right? Especially online bullying. In many countries, you can actually get in trouble with the police for online bullying. So, do bullies have freedom of speech? Does freedom of speech apply to bullies? Right? Where do we draw the line? Freedom of speech cannot just be an open-ended thing that runs on forever and ever, and anyone can say anything, as we see with bullying, as we see with people getting in trouble with the police for bullying, as we see with people committing suicide from online bullying. Where is the line? There has to be a line somewhere. And if online bullying is wrong, as we all agree that it is, then we can't scream freedom of speech for what Piers Morgan has been doing. We can't attach freedom of speech to Piers Morgan's brand of sharing his opinion. That's not just sharing an opinion. That is a vendetta. It's hateful. And whether or not you like Piers Morgan, if anyone has listened to him and his rhetoric on Meghan Markle, you will agree that's gone too far. And I just think that that's something that you should think about, the whole issue of bullying versus freedom of speech and where Piers Morgan stands in all that. Because to me, you have to be he has to be held accountable. And I think a lot of people have been finally trying to hold him accountable. His colleagues, plus the 41,000 persons in the UK who filed a complaint against him. Kudos to all of you. Let's see. That was a freedom of speech. I'm trying to remember all the points that really kind of shook me to my core. Oh, well, let's touch on this. The security. Moving out of the UK, then hearing that your security is going to be revoked. On some level, I get it, because taxpayers of the UK pay for that security. If you're saying that, if you're not going to be a part of the royal family, I understand that. But at the same time, fam, what Harry spoke about in the actual interview kind of was troubling to me. Them moving to Canada, getting letters saying from the firm. Child, when she called them the firm, I was done. I was so done. But anyway, from the firm saying that their security is going to be revoked because of a change in status. Not only that, they're going to be announcing that his security is revoked, or their security is going to be revoked. And everyone knows exactly where they are. Now put 2 and 2 together and make 7. Because that's a dangerous combination. And I feel like no matter what the differences are there, the preservation of life is what's more important than everything else. If the world knows where they are, right? The world is going to know that you revoke the security once you've revoked the security. That means every psychopath, every person with a vendetta against the royal family, anyone has free access, and what, you don't care? Even in the interview, Prince Harry said he pushed back and said, fine, our status has changed, but has the risk level changed? Their response was, no, the risk is still the same, but we will still be revoking access because of your status change. So basically that says to me, we don't really care about you now. We're going to take the security away. If you die, you die. That's cold. That's cold. That's cold because it's not just a business. That's your family business. And no one could step in and say, I don't think we should have their security removed. So because they've exited the royal family, their lives are no longer important. Their lives are no longer valid. That didn't sit well with me. And then the other part about not giving their son Archie security and Meghan security, terrible, but fine. But Prince Harry, and he said he was even surprised by this, Prince Harry's security being revoked. I kind of feel like that should never happen under any circumstance. That's Prince Harry. Just because he's no longer officially working as a royal does not change the fact that that is a grandson of the Queen. Like, what? It kind of, to me, it's like, an American president. When he is finished and there's a new president, he still has security for the rest of his life because there's nothing that's going to change the fact that he was a president of the United States. It's the same thing with Prince Harry. There's nothing that's going to change that he is Prince Harry, no matter what his function or role is. How dare you revoke his security? That's crazy to me. You don't have to agree on that one. We already covered the one that I'm just like, we should all agree on. This one, fine. But yeah, that was crazy to me. The last thing that I kind of want to touch on is So on one hand, people are like, oh, they're not going to be a part of the royal family. And we don't want to, the taxpayers' dollars shouldn't be paying them salary, yada, yada, yada. Fine. Valid argument. Absolutely fine. But then now that they're not getting money from the royal family, what is it that you expect them to do? They would have to earn their own money, right? And now that they're earning their own money, those same people are like, oh, they're just money grabbing royals. They just after money. Look at them making Netflix deals and all these deals. How you expect the people to pay for their lives? How you expect the people to pay for their security that was revoked? Again, threat level the same, identity still the same, royals. How are they supposed to pay for their security if they're not getting money from the UK and you don't think they should work? Make it make sense, fam. If they get money from the UK, it's problem. If they get money on their own earning, it's problem. What do you want these people to do? Like it isn't making sense. And when I see things that don't make sense, it bothers me. It bothers me because I'm like, if you're gonna have an opinion, at least make it make sense, fam. At least make it make sense. And yeah, those are the few topics that I just wanted to touch on. There are other things about the interview that disturbs me deeply, and these were the main things. The rest of them, fine. But these, I think it was four things that I spoke about in this video. I'm just like, what is wrong with people? What is wrong with people? Anyway, I'm tired. I'm going to bed. I feel like this is not the video, but I'm a YouTuber, so I can't not do it. If you like this video, hit the subscribe button and I'll see you in my next video.